Hey out there, it's Dave Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor again with a nice video today about something that is very disconcerting for a lot of agents that are actually currently contracted. So I got a call from an agent today who is currently contracted with another agency, has done some time with this agency and has realized he is getting shortchanged on his opportunity to sell Final Expense because of what this agency does not provide. So I figured it would be a pretty good idea to do a quick video about how to get out of your current agency arrangement without spilling blood. And I mean that sincerely. Many times people get involved in this business. They like the opportunity, they've been sold a bill of goods that just sounds great, but they get out there and they may like the business, but they realize that the current organization that they're with is just not really the best suited for where they are at or where they're going to go. And so the thing is, and this is really important to understand, as an agent looking to jump ship, you got to do things the right way. And you got to do it in a sequence that isn't going to penalize you, because many of these agencies anticipate a certain percentage jumping ship at a future date. And they set up their program to really put up an agent up against the wall in a pressurized sort of way that is not necessarily to their benefit, to the benefit of the agent. So what I'm going to detail are just some simple steps you can follow as a final expense agent to move your deal, your contracts, and whatnot to an agency that you feel will give you a better opportunity. So before that, I'll kind of touch on a few things. Well, what are some good reasons to move your agency contract? Well, I think the first reason is that you're just not getting the support that they promised. You know, the promises are not kept, is what it comes down to. Support usually is the biggest thing in the form of personalized training. Leads, you may not be getting your leads, and no matter how well your training is, it's worth nothing if you don't have people to see. And you may be shortchanged with your carrier contracts. You may not have access to the best final expense carriers that are required to succeed continually in this business. And you may have seen or experienced this by talking with other agents, experiencing different situations with different agents. Maybe come across policies you can't replace, and you wonder, hey, well, why can't I pick those up? And so all of these situations built over time are good reasons to consider what can you do to improve your situation. Because I will tell you, the bottom line, as an agency and as a producing agent who's gone through all of this several times in my history, I will tell you that you need to look out for yourself, number one. You need to find opportunities that best suit you and where you are in your career. And you don't want to leave money on the table, for sure, and you don't want to be drug along by an agency that promises you the moon but doesn't do anything to actually deliver it. So what can you do to get out of a bad situation? So first of all, the sooner you find it, the better. Most people don't make changes until the last minute when shit hits the fan, for lack of a better description. And usually at that point, it's the hardest to move. The guy I was talking to earlier actually has been in the business long enough to see he likes it, but he's been long enough to know that there's probably some long-term problems coming down the pike. So for me, he's in a great situation. The earlier you find that there's a problem, the better. And always trust your gut, okay? If you just don't get the sense that, you know, where you're working is actually a good opportunity, then you're probably right. You probably need to follow up on that gut instinct, because more often than not, as I can attest, it's correct. So identify the problem quickly and act on that problem by switching. But step number 2 is don't act too quickly. You know, especially if things are going okay and it's not complete garbage. You know, but if things are going okay and you feel like you need to make a change, do your time to do your due diligence. Understand that you probably got into this situation the first time because you did not do your due diligence. So you got to do something a little bit different this time and set your situation up in a way in which you take your time, research the people involved in the organization, ask a lot of good questions about leads, commission levels, what it takes to advance, ask for testimonials or references, and be patient with the process. Don't rush into anything that may come back to haunt you, even worse than where you're at right now. So take your time to do that. And lastly, don't burn any bridges, even if you're not having a good situation with this particular organization you're involved in. You never know how the wondrous world of final expense will come back to you. It's always a good deal to leave on good terms, to wrap things up as smoothly and as respectfully as possible, even if there is bad blood. You don't want to create more problems than really are necessary. And so, what I would recommend you to do is, in the perfect world, do all the due diligence and the research well in advance of making any sort of initial move. Talk to a lot of people, sleep on it, give it some time. Take the time necessary to let an idea or a concept or something, smooth over, so that you can get a good sense if, you really sit well with what is being offered to you as an alternative to where you are right now. And, when it's time and you feel like there's possibly some, advantage to making the switch, I always recommend that you contract the new carriers that you're looking at prior to canceling your agreement or switching your agreement from your present carrier. Because what happens is that if you quit your current operation, they may pull your leads that you paid for, and they may also cancel your contracts at the same time in an effort to prevent you from replacing business that you may have sold with these new carriers. And they're trying to really squeeze you to death so that you won't do anything that will come back to haunt them potentially. And it's a dirty way to treat agents, but it happens. And it's better to be prepared and patient than it is to rush into something and then get really screwed more than you are right now. So that's kind of how I would approach any sort of potential switch in who you want as your agency. Like I said, I've been through it several times. We all have been through it, have been in the business long enough. Very few people find the first person they deal with is the best one for life. And so, out of respect them for what they've provided you, hopefully with something. And, take the time to switch over and make sure that the switch you're making is a verifiably good decision that will benefit you as well as be just a definite improvement upon your situation. So again, my name's David Duford. You can visit my website at feagentmentor.com, at Final Expense Agent Mentor. Check out my other videos I've got. I've got a lot of videos about training, leads, all sorts of stuff related to final expense. And thanks so much for listening to this. And if you're in this situation and you want some perspective from somebody like myself on a more personal basis, visit my webpage. Feel free to fill out the contact form. I'll talk to you free of charge. It's a tough decision, even if you don't necessarily want to work with me. It's good to have some perspective from people who've been where you are currently, and I'd be more than happy to provide that. So hopefully you found this interesting and helpful if you're in this position. So take care.